This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard with you live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is the spot. 3-hour banger lined up for you today. Plenty on the NBA card that we have coming up tonight. Updated numbers for the Madness. Look ahead numbers for the national title game. Major League Baseball, full slate there again. Awesome guest today on the show, Henry Abbott from True Hoop in 90 Minutes. Who's going to win the MVP? We have Matt Vasgersian on the program, some season-long bets from him. MLB Network, Netflix, NBC Peacock, and Derek Stevens on the program as Las Vegas is getting another Super Bowl. And what does he think of the NFL potentially moving to 18 games? How cool was it yesterday? Nick Whalen comes on the program to get some best bets in the NBA. He's really dialed in with the player props.
Yeah.
He gives out LeBron James to have a triple-double last night. I'm actually tracking the game. I have, like most of you, I have several apps on my phone to look at games, go over box score, see what's happening. And the one I was looking at last night, he only had like 2 assists at halftime, and I never looked at another app. And at the end of the game, he's scoring a bunch of points, has a ton of rebounds. Like, oh, that's too bad. He never came close with the assists. Then I'm checking Twitter, and they're like, yeah, what a call by Nick. Triple-double was never in doubt. I'm like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And I go to the account and it cashed. I'm like, is that a mistake? I went back to the app I looked at again, 4 assists, end of game.
Oh, God.
So then I said, okay, maybe I need to check another app. And everyone I did, like, yeah, LeBron with a triple-double last time. I'm like, wait, what?
And that thing was way off.
Yeah, way off. Not even close the whole game.
Yeah. Great job. It was a great job. 7-1 at some spots. You mentioned it on the air. Great call by him. And they have a huge game tonight. And I can't decide what side to go with in this game because they got punked the first meeting in Cleveland. Both teams on a back-to-back, but Luka rested. I do know this. Jared Allen's going to cook tonight down low. I don't think they'll have any answer for Allen. 11.5 points. He'll grab 7 rebounds at least, I believe, and it's in that funky range with the 1.5, 2.5 as well. Lakers favored. So big game for the Lakers. They can wrap up the division tonight, but they're also trying to lock down that 3 seed, which you avoid OKC until the conference finals, and then you get likely Houston in the first round.
Now, I would say that the best approach probably for this game, knowing the NBA, Paulie, is to wait until it's started, and you can go and play. These teams are going on massive runs all the time, and my guess is that in the first half, you're going to be able to get a better number on either one of these 2 teams in the game tonight. Also last night, I mean, it was trending where Wemby was going nuts in another blowout win for the Spurs. So the 41-16 last night to go along with 3 blocks. And that's happening at the same time as Detroit is up by like 7 in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma City. So then you're thinking, okay, Detroit's officially going to lock up the division and getting very close to the 1 seed at that point. And does Wemby actually catch SGA tonight in this game or get closer? And then he's obviously going to be like this close to the 1 seed as well in the Western Conference. And then OKC mounts a huge comeback in the fourth quarter. They get the win in overtime. SGA has 47 points overall.
25 trips to the free throw line. I mean, he's a great player, but man, no one gets a whistle like him. I got to see what Henry Abbott thinks coming up. Remember when they played the Celtics, Jaylen Brown kept saying, that's not basketball. That's not basketball. Where he goes to the left, knows the contact's coming, and then kind of embellishes, and then acts, and he keeps going to the free throw line. So the 41-16 for the Freak, and he had the 3rd quickest double-double in NBA history, what he did.
Yeah, like 8 minutes.
Yes, right. So he's on a mission. We have to look at his props every game. They got a big one coming up tomorrow against Golden State. There's a game against the Clippers. They have 2 left against Denver. He wants the award. SGA says, I'll let my play do the talking. He's down to plus 250 in some spots, but you're right. Where were the numbers going to wind up if SGA was only average last night or they lost? Down 7 with 4 minutes left before they come back in a vicious beat if you had the under.
Yeah, because evidently some people are going to be voters, in fact, are going to make a big deal out of that. If the Spurs can somehow surpass OKC as the 1 seed, I don't think they're going to do it, although Oklahoma City certainly has some tough games to go. I taped Pot of the Futures last night with JVT. He was telling me that there is a voter. It's actually Michael Wilbon who said, and I know that he's going to vote for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, he said that.
He also has the pecking order: Brown 1, SGA 2, and Wemby 3. But he said he will change his vote to Wemby if the Spurs catch Oklahoma City as the 1 seed.
Why?
How does it make sense?
He's not the only one. A lot of people are saying that. I don't get it.
Okay, so the next draw poll is evidently coming out this week. Maybe Friday, from what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that'll be the big movement.
But I also think that
it's so dead on, and he's always right.
Right. I think they might put it out tomorrow or Thursday because they want all of that traction going into the weekend.
Yeah.
If you dump it on Friday before the Final
Makes
Four,
sense.
maybe there's a chance where that's going to get lost a little bit.
Yeah.
So there is that. And also reading the VSiN Daily today that Bill 80 puts together 7 days a week here. Get it for free in your inbox every single day when you go to vsin.com/subscribe. So in there, Steve Makinen had his numbers, and when he was breaking down national title teams, latest trends, and he was on this team a while back when they were still 25-1, but he thinks that there's a team still that has value this week and in the game, and that team is Illinois. His numbers say that the Illini should be closer to 3.5 than 1.5 or 2.5 that's out there right now. And so he thinks that, he had Illinois pegged as one of the true national title contenders when he does this throughout the entire year when they were still at that number that I just talked about. And there's also this that he points out. If you go back following sharp Final Four movement since 2015, teams that have moved off the opener are 13-1 straight up, 9-5 ATS. That would be Illinois here. Opened up smaller, got to 2.5.
All right. Or you could take the Matt Humans angle. I will take Hurley until he dies every day in the tournament with this 18-1 run ATS, what he's done. So hopefully there's a letdown, and Illinois has been fantastic. And then the other game is just pure madness with two unbelievable teams. The other thing, too, a couple people taking shots at Pat Forty for his tweet. We're going to do tip jar coming up later. A guy got Arizona 33-1 in early November. That was a great call by 40. Because it wasn't a lot of teams have a great non-conference or big wins, right?
By the way,
for him to say, "Give me Arizona and Michigan, you can have the field," in like early November, that's a great call.
What are people saying?
You took two of the best teams. Oh, anyone can do that.
It's also
it was also looking, and he was dead wrong because he was dead right, but they were dead wrong because then he also saw the responses where people were arguing and making the case for several other teams.
Well, here's also what people have no time concept in their brains at all anymore. That's 5 months ago. So is it possible to go back and think about what it looked like 5 months ago? Impossible in today's society. So that's why people are idiots and they react like that. I will tell you that even early on, after Arizona had a couple of very nice wins, I think it was Hoops Peterson who said you might want to get on this team right now. They beat Florida. They beat somebody else in the non-con right away.
Yeah.
They were still hovering at 14-1 or higher. Because I remember looking, I'm like, my problem was I've seen this before with Tommy Lloyd.
Right.
So how many times do I have to go through this before I know that I'm probably going to get a little, ticked off of myself for falling for it earlier on in the year? So I didn't think that Arizona was going to be a thing like they turned into. I still had plenty of question marks back in early to mid-November.
Eric in Georgia did it after they beat Florida. That was after the win. He still got a great number.
I think that was like first game of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By the way, look ahead numbers that you can find, and they might be different in different books. But UConn, Arizona, Wildcats would be 5.5. Michigan, UConn, Michigan would be 6.
What if they blow out Arizona?
What if either one of those teams wins in a blowout?
Right. What if Michigan enters the championship game every win and scoring 90 points? And what's the average? 25 points per game?
Yeah.
They ever win by?
So if they win 92-77 in this game, and they have a comfortable lead the entire time, that's not going to be 6. They'll be 7, probably up to that range. Arizona's 4 against Illinois. Michigan 4.5 against Illinois. Do you think that Illinois or UConn has the best chance to beat? Forget about point spreads for a second, because you can factor in Dan Hurley here, and your opinion is going to change again if UConn actually beats Illinois on Saturday. Which one of those two teams do you think would have the better chance to pull it off as a dog?
I would say Illinois is better and has the better chance.
That's kind of what I think, too. I think they have the personnel and,
Okay, congrats on the comeback, but you were down 19. You did struggle with Furman, and you were boat raced by St. John's a couple times, and you got blown out by Marquette. So
I don't disagree.
Certainly, if they're off, they're way off. If they don't bring it, they have their issues. The other thing is I'm a little bit concerned about Lloyd in this he continues to move. Now the reports that Jordan reached out to him, that he won't say no to this Carolina with all these rumors and won't just say, I'm happy here. And that was bizarre in the press conference when he said Arizona's going to have another good coach after me.
Yeah, how weird is that comment?
Yes, and the timing.
And now, there's an offshore book that moved, like Donovan's minus 175, and Lloyd's the second shot. What was he at? I forget the number. It was below 2-1, wasn't he?
Yeah, plus 175.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
Yes, it's after the rumors that Jordan reached out to him.
What an odd comment.
You win the national title. You want to retire at Arizona. They'd love to have you. And you're not saying, well, they're going to have another good coach after me. Who's thinking about that timeline?
Right. Don't you think? Okay, and by the way, Follow the Money is brought to you by ProfitX, and right now you could be winning a $5,000 or $10,000 trip during March Madness. Check out King of March and use the code VSiNMM. So if they lose on Saturday, it's going to be I told you so, isn't it?
Yes.
Distractions, and he's got his mind on the North Carolina job and yada, yada, yada.
Or I told you Michigan's just the best team and too good. I mean, you can't stop their offense. That could be the other thing. Or does it, and then is he out the door? Oh, that'd be crazy.
Right. How about changing your mind every time you watch both these teams play?
Uh-huh.
I think we kicked that around with 40 yesterday. You watch Arizona play on Saturday, you're like, that second half, again, you watch them play against Arkansas, yeah, you can't beat them. Then you see Michigan play that second half against Alabama, and then that full game basically, you're like, who's going to beat them?
I wish it was the title game, like you said yesterday.
Yeah.
I wish they were on different sides of the bracket.
Yeah, we'll get into more of tonight's NBA card coming up next. Opta AI projections have this player clearing his points prop rather easily, and another guy has averaged 25-plus points per game in this situation tonight. Details coming up next.
There is no other college basketball betting analyst quite like him. His passion is unparalleled. He handicaps every game, every day, all season long. Sleep is not an option for him. He stays fresh by running 12 miles a day, every day, while doing his podcast and answering your tweets. He is Greg Hoops Peterson.
Tame the madness of March by catching Greg Peterson on VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
On the next A Numbers Game, Todd Wishnev. 180 units, the positive in college basketball. His thoughts on the Final Four. That's 180 units this season alone. I know. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it with my own two eyes. Nick Whalen on the National Basketball Association. Will Hill with all of his bets across the sports. Final Four, baseball today. All of that. And speaking of baseball, Paul Sporer on his early season thoughts. It's A Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, so here's a player who has been great in this spot the entire year. It's Austin Reeves as we expand here on this Cavaliers-Lakers game tonight. With Luka and against defenses in the bottom 15 and some other advanced numbers, which the Cavaliers fit into, like all the criteria, he averages 24 points per game. Also, with Luka and without Marcus Smart, you got to monitor his status for tonight's game. Reeves has averaged more than 25 points per game. Shout out Zach Cohen, VSiN.com. His player prop is like 21.5 tonight. They're on fire, man. They've won 12 out of 13. The only loss was to Detroit. And we saw that Detroit team last night without almost every player on their team. They almost beat Oklahoma City.
This is a great coaching job. How good are the Pistons? To be without your best player and you're playing like this, and you got OKC on the ropes, and you beat the Lakers, and they had no answer. I
cannot draw a line through that team to win the East.
No.
I can't. I think they absolutely can. And now you might be saying, well, no kidding, dummy. They're the 1 seed right now. I talked to JVT about it last night. He's drawn a line through them.
Oh, man.
He doesn't trust them to get there at this point. He wants like another year with this team. I'm there with them. I mean, if Cade comes back and he's completely healthy, why can't they, in my opinion? Because the East is just completely open the way it looks.
And Jenkins has been great for him. And he was awesome in the win against the Lakers.
That's right.
That is right. So I'm big on Allen in this game, as I mentioned earlier, but I think he eats them up down low. He had the night off in Utah. He missed all that time and then was awesome Saturday. So over 11.5 points seems cheap, and I think he can do some damage on the boards tonight. Lean the Cavs. Tough game, but it's huge again for the Lakers if they can wrap up the division and they want to get that 3 seed. Also staying in L.A. This is a big game. There's a huge difference between the 8 seed and the 9 seed. Not only that, the Clippers could catch Phoenix and get the 7. They are up to minus 325 to make the playoffs at Caesars. They are laying 5.5 against Portland. If they win tonight, they'll pretty much wrap up the 8 seed. They will have the tiebreaker, and that's another win against Portland. They beat them 114-107 and beat them 119-103 on the road. After that bump in the road when they had some injuries and Mathurin was out, they lost 4 in a row. They won 5 in a row now, and a little bit of a tax up to 5.5. But Portland just had that bizarre loss Friday night at home to Dallas, and they couldn't score. So I think it's a lot of points, but this is big for the Clippers if they can get the win, and they'll pretty much lock up the 8 seed. And then, we like those tickets at even money or a little bit higher than what we talked about to make the playoffs about a month ago.
John Collins is projecting for 6.15 rebounds in the game. His prop is 5.5 in that game. The Knicks are taking on the Rockets. This is in Houston. Josh Hart projects for 5.16 assists at VSiN.com. His prop is 4.5 in the game tonight. 4.5. I don't know why I'm saying that, but Houston covered against the Pelicans 2 days ago. This is weird, though, but they failed to cover in 4 straight before that. Strange stretch here. They lost by 25 to the Spurs, 36 to Denver going back a couple of weeks. Swept by the Lakers in that 2-game set at home. Smoked Atlanta. Lost to Chicago and Minnesota in that really crazy finish that they had. Now the Knicks are favored in this game. The Knicks have lost 2 straight, 0-3 ATS last 3. They beat the Wiz by 32, laying 20+. They beat the Nets by 1, laying 18.5. They beat Indiana by 26, laying 13.5. And they beat the Warriors by 3, laying 14.5. So most of the results are just completely inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been the case with some of these teams in action tonight, where the Cavaliers qualify as one of those other teams as well, for what it's worth. They have the best offense overall in the league the last 10 games. But you look overall, they've won like 2 or 3 games by margin in the past month, by 21 over Miami, 33 over Dallas, and 14 over Philadelphia. Other than that, close wins or outright losses for Cleveland. So you have that team. You have the Knicks going, which has been a little bit bizarre tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dillon Brooks is back for the Suns in this game against the Magic, although it's a weird schedule spot here for Phoenix.
Yeah.
They were great last night, but a back-to-back now and 3 games in 4 days here for the Suns.
That's why I can't do it. But this could be like a Denver Nuggets situation where there could be a coaching change. And you worry about Mosley just because of how bad they've been playing. And then when they got spanked in their last game, the 31-0 run, there was just bizarre comments about chemistry and there's something wrong with the team and what's going on and how bad. And the role players aren't doing well, and even the stars have been awful. And Banchero's taken a step back. So for them to go all in this year and give up all those picks to get Bane, and they might be the 10 seed or the 9, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a coaching change. It's been so bad with Orlando. And even though it's a bad spot for the Suns, I just can't back a team that's on this horrible stretch. The only win during this stretch was they survived a close game against Sacramento at home. And they have no incentive to win and don't want to win.
1-7 overall last 8 games, 3-5 ATS in the NBA, 27th overall with their raw defensive rating in that time. Suns, meanwhile, 3-1 straight up, 4-0 last ATS. What you're referring to, so Mosley came out and basically after that Raptors embarrassing loss, he said, "That's on me. I didn't have my players prepared. I don't know if they were ready for that kind of physicality in the game." And it's like, are you calling them like weak right now? Like, what are you saying? And he went on and on and on with that message. Then Desmond Bane was asked about the comments, and he goes, "Yeah, I don't know where he's getting that from. I don't know what that means." It almost feels like, in hockey, the latest example would be the Golden Knights, Cassidy out, 8 games to go in the season. You're like, okay, was the message lost on the team? And hockey coaches last, for 14 seconds, the way it seems sometimes. But evidently in Orlando, let's be honest here, Paulie, this has been a disappointing season for Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
They got down to, after they made that move for Bane, and books were adjusting, people were trying to bet them, make the case for, they were less than 6-1 to win the Eastern Conference. And thank God I didn't fall for that one on this team. And if they're going to be like the 10 in the play-in.
Yeah, they're plus money to make the playoffs at DraftKings.
Well, they have to be.
Yeah.
At this point.
Mm-hmm. And I do think this is the one time I'll recommend laying a big number. Charlotte's going to be in a bad mood. Charlotte's a better road team, and they've done a nice job blowing out these bad teams. I think they put it on the Nets tonight and win by 18 or more in this game. Also, if this would work out for the Clippers, too. They win, the Suns lose, they're only 2 back of that 7 seed, if they can get this one tonight as well. But it's a pretty good card, even though it's a short card.
Yeah, no, I like the game.
And we're down to like a week and a half left here in the season. So, and then, that Piston game is difficult, too, because of the back-to-back and overtime. And that number's come down as well. And the big move on the Dallas game. Dallas was laying 5. It's down to 1.5 now, which Milwaukee's sitting people. So we'll see who plays or who doesn't play for the Mavs. But that just could be like a pickup basketball game with the 230.5 and just Matador defense in that one.
Well, would you believe this with the Pistons again in that impressive showing last night, down so many players?
Mm-hmm.
Teams off of overtime with no rest for a while, they were like 40% ATS. That makes sense, right? You played an overtime game the night before. You have to get right back at it the next night and play in another game. You're probably not good at covering numbers. However, the last 2 years, they're now 13-7 ATS. And I will also point this out. The Pistons are only 7-6 ATS on a back-to-back this year. However, they are 11-2 straight up on a back-to-back. So I'm probably not going to get involved, but just who they are and what they have done this year, if they won the game in a close one, I wouldn't be stunned, I guess. How good was that, Paulie, last night?
Yeah.
And they
won the game.
They were down big early, and doesn't matter. They kept clawing back in the game. They hit him with a big punch in the fourth quarter, took that lead, and then Oklahoma City got him in overtime.
Well, I think the other thing that's going to continue is these guys putting up big numbers, trying to get the MVP, especially when the games are scattered. Or I play early, you play late, and I know what you've already done.
I don't mind
especially
that idea.
If Wembanyama's playing the late game and SGA goes for 35 or something. The guy's on a mission right now.
The way it seems.
41 and 16, and he gets the double 8 minutes in. You just look at all of his props. And what he's doing, filling up the box score every night. We're brought to you by ProfitX. If you're not on ProfitX yet, now's the time. Sign up by April 6th. Purchase at least $25 and get free $25 and jump into their King of March contest. Code VSiNMM. Download ProfitX, code VSiNMM. Make your first purchase and take your shot at becoming the King of March. The Lady Huskies are only laying 7 Friday night against South Carolina.
I have to be honest, I did a double take when I looked at that number.
I was surprised as well. And Texas is favored against UCLA, but that's UCLA's only loss. All 4 1 seeds made it for the ladies. Tough last night. Games were over early.
Wow. So would you be inclined to lay it with UConn here? I need to know more about the games and dive into them a little bit more before I actually do it. But if we were kicking around the idea of that team being a double-digit favorite in the national title game against any team, and UCLA,
that seems cheap.
You know what I'm saying? It feels like 6.5 might be. Intrigued by it anyway. You mentioned the Hornets. They could lay a big number tonight. You wouldn't be surprised. I'd lay like 4 in the first quarter, but it's like, man, DK has 5.5 in the first quarter. Jesus.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad to look at either.
I remember when I first moved out to Las Vegas, and, you're getting more into the betting scene, and you're paying attention to the numbers, and the Lakers one time were laying like 15 against the Hawks, and the Hawks were without a couple of guys. And that was like the biggest point spread I'd ever seen at that time. 15's nothing. This year, we have 15 every night, the way it seems.
Mm-hmm. Road teams, too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Takeaways from last night's schedule in Major League Baseball. We'll tell you which players the Opta AI projections like tonight. And I guess we need to look at fading this starter as long as he's going to be pitching.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Filed this one away as a mistake yesterday, but something that we're going to circle moving forward as long as he's still pitching, maybe every 5 days. But Justin Verlander went last night for the Tigers. Now, it would be a great story if he could go back there and actually be effective as like their fourth starter. They're a playoff team, and he's good in the playoffs. However, Paulie, he lasted 3 2/3. I don't even know how he made it that far. It was 80 pitches, 6 hits, 5 earned, struck out 1. Like, is he not... How did we miss that one yesterday?
I was going to go against him, too, because he was so bad the first 3-4 months of the season last year. And the comments every game where I don't understand. Nothing's working.
Yep.
Now, he did figure it out the back end. But, this might not go well for him. And that was a horrible start. The other thing, I think you have to keep going against the A's. I mean, they 57 strikeouts through 4 games, most since 1900. Kurtz 1 of 13, Wilson 2 of 17. And how bad they've been offensively. So I think they're also a go against until they can get out of this.
I was on Elder's K-prop yesterday. It barely got there. He did end up with 5. I have not bet the guy who's going tonight against the A's. I might do that, though, before first pitch. The Rangers are playing at the Orioles tonight. This is Jacob deGrom. Woke up with some neck stiffness in Philadelphia, so they skipped his start.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not a great omen for him. However, last year, bounce back year in 2025, more than 170 innings pitched, 9.4 Ks per 9. Actually, his lowest number, still good, but his lowest number since 2016. ERA was really good. FIP was a little bit higher, but he did benefit from a BABIP as low as 230, which is batting average of balls in play. League average typically around 300. Hard hit rate, 42%, basically the highest of his entire career. His swinging strike percentage in his prime was a robust 20 to 21%, down to 14% last year. So his K prop in this game tonight is 6.5. You can get plus money if you want to go over. The under is like minus 160. I will tell you that opposing starting pitchers against Baltimore so far are 3-1 to the over. Joe Ryan had 7. Bradley had 9. Leiter had 8. Ober only had 1 against them. Opta AI, VSiN.com. They are projecting Jacob deGrom for almost 8.5 Ks in this game tonight. And they have him as the number 1 value play on the board today, a 26.3% edge based on their model with the Ks over.
Seems cheap. And the bullpen's been strong, too. And the Orioles, 2 runs or fewer, 3 of the 4 games.
That's right.
So
Bullpen's
right
been amazing.
there.
But I don't know if I can bet the K prop, though.
Yeah.
I think, to your point, I think I'd rather bet the Rangers to win the game.
Eflin is Nimmo is 1 of 14 against them. And Berger started the season 8 of 17. And something also new at DraftKings, when you bet the pitchers' walks, they can go 2 or fewer, 1 or fewer. They've expanded and added some stuff to the menu as well.
Oh, so they've added some ways to look at unders, actually.
Yeah.
Unders.
Yeah. How about the news on Ponce? You believe this?
2 innings. ACLs.
Is he out for the year?
No, the report just came down a minute ago for the Blue Jays. Extended amount of time, significant amount of time.
Signed a 3-year, $30 million deal, was the MVP and Cy Young Award winner last year, KBO. So now that's Ponce, Savage, Barrios, and Bieber, who all are hurt. Savage and Barrios back to late April.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy's out significant time. He only gave up 1 run. Bullpen imploded after him. But that's too bad. And a tough loss for the Jays.
Yeah, that stinks. Let me give you this. The Giants are playing at the Padres. So it's Webb versus Marquez. Webb, now obviously he started last week, opening night. Giants did not go well. 5 innings, 9 hits, 7 Ks, 1 walk, 6 earned. And his numbers, it's 1 start, so I'm not going to just completely tell you, oh my God, it's over for Logan Webb. I'm not going to get that crazy. But there was a really good breakdown today on VSiN.com from Adam Burke, and it was about German Marquez and his K prop. He struck out 17 batters in his final 2 spring training starts. He only pitched 5 and 4 2/3 innings in those 2 starts, pitching 78 and 81 pitches. The Giants' slash line so far is 154, 230, 211 with a 25.2% K rate. Adam Burke made a great point he's laddering Marquez from 4+ at minus 106 all the way up. The highest rung that he could find was 7+ at more than 10-1. He had a 36.8% whiff rate last year. He loves his spot, is trusting what he saw in spring training, and he's going to go with the ladders. And he also said, this is Marquez now. You get him out of Coors the entire time.
You think so?
And he was basically saying the home road splits were a thing with him as well.
Yeah, I'm concerned about this. Just spring training. I think Logan Webb bounces back. Yeah, the thing is, the Giants have all their issues offensively, although they got the win last night. They only have 4 runs on the season and 1 home run. He's got horrible numbers career against the Giants. Fair point, though, about the ballpark, but Webb seems cheap at $1.35.
Okay.
I think they'll get to Marquez. Hopefully the strikeouts get there, though.
So here's one guy, and if I lose this bet, I lose it. But I knew that when he was going to make his first start this year, I was going to try to way to fade him. And I love the guy, so I hope he comes back and has a really good year. It's Shane McClanahan for the Rays. I mean, he hasn't pitched since 2003.
Almost 1,000 days.
So 2
surgeries. Tommy John, and then there was like something
nerve damage.
Yeah.
So Opta AI projects him for 2.44. His prop is 5.5. The Brewers have not struck out 6 times against a starting pitcher in the 4 or 5 games that they played so far this year. He did post, this is McClanahan now, a 2.08 ERA, a whip of 1, 15 Ks in 13 innings in 4 spring outings. However, back in 2003, he was averaging almost 97 miles an hour with his 4-seam fastball. That was down around 93.5%, 93.7, I'm sorry, with the miles per hour. So in his first start back here, like you could look at that and say, well, maybe he's trying to save himself a little bit for the regular season. I could also say, okay, that's fine, but maybe he doesn't want to crank it up to see if he can go to 97 again in his first start where he wants to like ease into the year. I played under 4.5 Ks at plus 149 on him. Now, again, that was at a book out here in Las Vegas, Station Casinos. But if in a lot of books, I noticed they won't let you like play under certain numbers. In fact, there's another one out here. I don't know why they do this, but Boyd, which is our version of FanDuel, but they don't have like not even close to the entire menu that FanDuel offers. They will only, you can't even get a regular K number on a pitcher. So meaning you can't even find 4.5. All they do is let you ladder high numbers. So it's like 5+, 6+, 7+. You can't bet under on any of these guys. I don't get it. That's a one-way market, which I can't stand. But again, if I lose, I lose, and it's going to be maybe a good sign for this guy moving forward. But I just, that number under 4.5 plus 149, that was worth a bet to me.
What do you expect out of Ohtani?
That's a great question. How long is he going to go?
6 innings, Robert said.
Well, then he's going to blow the Guardians away, probably.
I would think. 287 and 14 starts last year. They want to get at least 6 out of him. He's reached base 35 games in a row. But Ohtani, Tucker, and Freeman, 4 for 43 at the dish so far to start out. 270 against the Guardians. Big win for the Guardians last night again. You always respect that organization. They find a way to win. That was excellent. The other one, Stanton's off to a great start. Yankees went 5 for 5 with the challenge.
Yeah.
Boone was livid. How bad were they? Do we know how bad these umpires are?
We're going to find out.
We are finding out. Just put the robots in there. I mean, they go 5 for 5 in challenges. You think Stanton gets rung up, then he answers with an RBI single after he wins. He's been great. The pitching's been, they've allowed 3 runs in 4 games. Good game last night. Big Dumper wins it. And Gilbert against Fried in a total of 7.
So I'm looking at Fried's first start. That was against Logan Webb, the one we just talked about. He went 6 1/3, 2 hits, 4 Ks, 1 walk, no earned. It was really good overall with the back of the baseball card numbers. 7 hard hit balls, 0 barrels. Average fastball was down from 95.8 last year to 94.6. Again, 1 start. I'm not going to freak out about that. The BABIP in that one game alone was 118. XFIP was 4.29. So maybe, but it's this Mariners offense. And again, Naylor and Julio Rodriguez, not exactly murderer's row at this point for Seattle. And Gilbert, actually, his numbers were not great in the first start. 5 hits, did have 7 Ks, 3 earned. But he only had 5 hard hit balls, 2 barrels, 14% swinging strike rate, which is on par. So I think maybe, again, this could be a 4-2 game, and I wouldn't be surprised at all you get out of here with a lower scoring game. Or Gilbert's really good tonight, and I just don't trust the Mariners' offense at the moment, Paulie.
Well, I don't trust the Phillies either. And Painter makes his MLB debut. He's $2. Tommy John was out a couple years, 26th ranked prospect, had an ERA of 5 at AAA. Nats tied for most runs so far. I don't think the Phillies should be laying $2, and they've been booing them as they're off to a slow start. Alvarez, career 600 against Bayo. Chapman, 400 against Marquez. Rooker, 800 against Suarez. Sheets, 500 against Webb. And there's a lot of unique situations with, like Bubba Chandler, see what he looks like tonight.
Yeah.
And he's favored on the road, and what Stewart's done. He's reached base 3 times or more in every game, and in 13 of his first 17 at-bats.
He's already down to the short shot to win the National League Rookie of the Year, at least one book that I looked at.
That's wild.
The most popular K-props with their biggest edge, Opta AI, VSiN.com. I mentioned DeGrom is number 1. Kodai Senga's number 2 at 6+. Brandon Pfaadt, 5+, very good according to their edge, and Eric Fetty for the White Sox going against the Marlins, their 4th biggest edge of the games tonight. Win-lose up next. Paulie will tell you which team is now 15-2 ATS when they play teams with a bad winning percentage. Coming up on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
There is no other college basketball betting analyst quite like him. His passion is unparalleled. He handicaps every game, every day, all season long. Sleep is not an option for him. He stays fresh by running 12 miles a day, every day, while doing his podcast and answering your tweets. He is Greg Hoops Peterson.
Tame the madness of March by catching Greg Peterson on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Another blowout win for the South Carolina women. That is 6 straight trips to the Final Four. That's incredible, Dawn Staley. And only a 7-point dog to UConn. Friday night. Favorites in the NBA, 7-1 straight up. Great call, Nick Whalen. LeBron triple-double, 7-1. Suns over 225.5 to 228.5 winner. They also covered. They're on a 15-2 ATS run against teams under a 40% winning percentage. Nats plus 150, White Sox plus 125, Rays plus 135, Rockies plus 275. All big dogs in MLB. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. My dog does this every time I eat. And this is what my dog does too. Jordan, look at the bully. Look at that mug, huh? He just sits there and waits next to the dinner table. Either do I get some or hoping something falls. And when Jordan was a puppy from day one, he would go under the kitchen table when we were eating, hoping he can get something. Either someone drops something or he gets, look at him. He sits there every single time. Oh, yeah. Look at his face.
Our 2 dogs, Mickey and Frankie now. Sebastian's going to be 2 next month. So when he's sitting at the table, Paulie, he drops stuff on accident, but then he gets super amused when the dogs like it. So he keeps trying to feed the dog. They're his best friend.
Sure.
They never move his side by his side.
Yeah, look at him. Look at this guy. Give me some. This is great.
I saw an American bully / pit bull mix this past weekend with something else that was one of the most gorgeous dogs I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is phenomenal. The differences, the differences between a Belgian Malinois and an English Bulldog. I mean, look at how this guy climbs fences, how high he can get up, and then the Bulldog can't even get on the couch. He's falling asleep. He does the cone drill, and he's going very slow and just walks in the cone. Look at this guy, yeah. Compare the 2 dogs, right? Incredible. One's a superstar, clearing a long jump, high jump, and this guy knocks over
that's the superstar right there.
Yeah, right. Climbing the wall and getting the toy, and then this guy with the front porch can't even get up on the couch on his little bed.
Look at the fat rolls in the back.
That's right. Oh, that's great. That was phenomenal. Send that to me, guys. That is great. Lose some. Well, I don't know what happened. The Sixers were up 4, and then it was a 16-2 Miami run to end the game. Sixers +2 to -2, no good. Couple brutal hockey scores. Colorado beat the Flames 9-2. Was that 5-0 in the first period?
He had 26 shots in the first.
Oh, Islanders got beat 8-3. Women's Final Four, 36, 26, 18, and 12-point games. And, of course, all 4 1 seeds get there. A couple lose some here. Your parody account, this got a lot of hits and a lot of talk today. So your parody account he travels a lot because of his job, and he likes to fly first class. This is today taking. He said we're not even pushing back from the gate yet. This guy goes barefoot and puts his feet up on the wall. I mean, look at that. He puts them on Front Street. Great job as well to do that. And someone said I was at Miami, and the guy did the same thing, and the foot odor knocked you over. It was so bad. But look, you wonder if that guy does that at home. It's like I can't believe someone would do that. Then, of course, it turns into an argument about is it first class or not.
That's why I can't do this anymore on social media.
You're arguing with the guy who's sitting in first class if it's first class.
Who travels for his living.
Yes.
You're telling him it's not first class.
I know. There was
Great. Thank you, guys.
3 responses.
So this is as soon as you're walking back first row, and that's both sides, you're like, what is happening right now, pal?
I mean, the next level is to just change the channel with his feet like the one person was years ago. Look at that. I can't believe people can act like that. That's crazy.
No respect for this as a human being at all.
No.
I don't care what he says about any other topic in the world. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Well done. And this is titled, Why Did He Even Show Up for Class? Why do you... You got the dogs hooked on doing the treadmill, and the other guy just falls asleep. He's just sitting there. I don't want to exercise now. He's like taking a nap, and then he wakes up because he falls off the treadmill. And they just I'm just going to lay down here on the ground then. Fine, enough for me. Love that.
That's not for him.
The other dog's looking at him like, why even show up? This class isn't for you. Vicious beat if he had the under in the Thunder game, 218. It was 101-101. And Detroit was up 7 with 4 minutes, and then it heads to overtime. where it's 114-110. 25 free throw attempts for the free throw merchant.
I think that's the second time this year he's had that many.
Founded in 2011, Sharp Plays just completed another dominant run. 15 straight years of winning, all documented. Records and logs posted at sharpplays.com. When they move, books take notice. Advanced AI tools, trusted insider intelligence, identifying price value before the numbers shift. Donate over $20,000 to charity with the Robin Hood Plays. Respected, watched, and feared. With Follow the Money since day one, Jeff and the crew do a great job. Every day, the Mr. Poison tweets. Start winning with them at sharpplays.com.
I'm curious to see what happens, by the way, in this Angels-Cubs game today. Evidently, the wind is going to be blowing in, I think, maybe potentially somewhat fierce. And Soriano was great in his first start against the Astros. 7 Ks. He did have that problem of walking a bunch of dudes again, though, which he has to cut back on. But no earned runs, 2 hits, only 4 hard hit balls the entire time, 0 barrels allowed. His swinging strike percentage was up to 19%, which is a big deal. So the Astros were swinging and missing quite a bit in that game. Last year, 14.8%, for example, was his career high. Home road splits last year. 2.91 ERA on the road, 0.4 home runs allowed. At home, 5.9 with the ERA, 1 home run allowed per 9. And again, he's on the road tonight. But can he shut down a really good Cubs offense, even if the wind is blowing in, at Wrigley Field tonight? This guy, his ceiling, as we pointed out in previous years, is very high for a starting pitcher. The problem is he's also got a very low floor, and I don't know if I really want to chase his stats. Maybe he puts it together this year, and he's just unhittable because he's throwing 99-plus miles an hour now, and he's got that impossible sinker, high ground ball pitcher, and maybe this is it. But he's been like Jekyll and Hyde. So I think I told you last week I wanted them plus the money against the Astros. I don't think I can get there today against the Cubs. Probably a pass on that one.
Yep. I don't know how long McClanahan's going to go. I also don't mind Woodruff and the Brewers here, $1.30. Number 2 in stolen bases, tied with the Nats for runs scored. I think they can do enough damage tonight. The total is 7.5. Like you mentioned yesterday, the Mets have owned St. Louis. That's a 10-2 run now. And Sangolane, $1.60 on the road against St. Louis. That's another interesting game. Gorman has an RBI in all 4 games, by the way. And I got to go back to the Astros here with Hunter Brown. $1.50 against the Red Sox, who are not hitting.
No, they're not.
It's bad. And Anthony's in a big slump. He's 1 for 13. Red Sox. If you take out Abreu, the Red Sox are batting 190. I don't think they're going to do much offensively. And Alvarez, I mentioned earlier, his own Bayo. If you want to look at his player props, that did come in last time we mentioned it.
Yeah.
He went deep on off Kikuchi, who he's owned. So Hunter Brown seems a little cheap at home.
Yeah, Brown did have 4 walks his first start, but 9 Ks. He was typical. Like last year, a good start from him, like almost every time out was like 6 innings, maybe 7. I think he'll bounce back tonight and go longer than 4 2/3 when he was yanked out after all those pitches a week ago against the Angels in that game.
How do you approach this, guys, in slumps?
You asked me about Gunnar Henderson yesterday.
He goes deep. Yeah,
goes deep right away.
Well, J-Rod's 1 for 19.
Well, he'll pop out of it at some point.
Well, I know when's it going to happen, though. So I'm talking from a prop standpoint. Do you come in and keep fading the guy? Or is it, I'm going to wait till he heats up and then I'll start riding a streak maybe? Because it's not going to continue. But when does he break out of it, though?
Sure. He gets righty-lefty tonight because Max Fried's on the mound. But also Max Fried he's a really good starting pitcher.
All that time off, it's just, Ryan Sandberg was always a slow starter. To me, the best second baseman of all time. But he would always come out and have a bad April. It'd take him a while to get going.
Some guys are notorious for that kind of thing. Like I said yesterday, Anderson hit a home run, so maybe that's a sign of life.
Yeah.
And there's going to be at some point where you're going to really want to buy low on these players. But my point was, okay, what if you do that today and he's 0 for 4 again, and you come back and say, well, I like him again in this spot, and then he's 0 for 3.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, okay, at what point do you throw up your hands and say, I'm done. I can't keep doing this every single day. But you just know at some point, like a guy's not going to hit 120 the entire year. He's going to snap out of it and start getting some hits.
So what's Judge? Judge is like 3 for 20, but all 3 are home runs?
Yeah.
So that's another one, right?
I want to see a guy like Big Ernie Clement. When he's hot, you know it.
Right.
And you want to keep riding it from the Blue Jays. Like he was for a lot of the regular season last year, specifically against lefties, and then he was so good in the World Series as well. But that way you have to wait and let it breathe. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with not going completely hog wild to begin the baseball season anyway. We got 6 months of this. So
that's true.
Yeah.
We're brought to you by Profit X. If you're not on Profit X, now's the time. Sign up by April 6th. They'll give you $25 when you purchase at least $25 and jump in to the King of March contest. Code VSiNMM. Download Profit X. Use code VSiNMM. Make your first purchase and take your shot at becoming the King of March. Good luck.
Up next, you're going to hear a very strange comment from Arizona head coach Tommy Lloyd. We will tie that in with the latest odds for the next head coach of North Carolina. All coming up here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the